Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
The Chicago Sky is better without Angel.
Angel Reese just landed in Chicago, and ESPN's already calling her a future bench warmer? Ooh, the audacity. As the Sky gets better, apparently Angel's supposed to just vanish? Meanwhile, Stephanie White's cooking up game plans like she's Gordon Ramsay with a clipboard. Is Reese getting iced out, or is ESPN just salty? Stick around as we unpack the madness, roast the takes, and find out if Angel's really falling or just dunking on their fragile egos.
I've said I initially thought the Chicago Sky were going to be terrible. But there's things I've seen that I like, frankly. I think Tyler Marsh, I think he's going to be a better coach. I think they're going to look more fluid on offense. I think I've done a couple of different videos on Angel Reese's new modified role in the offense that we found out she's going to have. They're going to play her more away from the basket. I also said it's going to be very...
Oh, here we go again. ESPN is back with their biannual Hot Take Olympics, and guess who's been volunteered as tribute this time? Angel Reese. Yep, the same Angel Reese who dragged her college team to a national championship, who's turned rebounding into a professional hobby, and who set WNBA rookie records while half the league still couldn't remember how to box out.
Okay, ESPN just released a list of their predictions, okay? But Angel Reese has been ranked dead last.
But according to ESPN's latest Fortune Checkpoint wisdom, now that the Chicago Sky might actually become a competent basketball team, Angel Reese is just going to fade away, vanish, disappear, like a foul call in a Caitlyn Clark game. Apparently, winning basketball games is some sort of performance death sentence for Reese. You heard it here first, folks. Team improvement is actually a player downgrade. It's not teamwork makes the dream work. It's teamwork makes Angel Reese irrelevant, according to these experts.
The Bayou Barbie has been humbled again.
So let's just walk through this intellectual masterclass together. The big brained take is that because the Sky added a few more functioning players and upgraded their offensive scheme, Angel Reese will no longer be gifted easy layups and free rebounds. Because obviously rebounding is just about standing under the rim and waiting for the ball to gently fall into your hands, right? Not about timing, physicality, anticipation, or, actually knowing how to rebound.
That offense that they ran yesterday against Minnesota is an offense that completely eliminates her impact. It eliminates her offensively, and it eliminates her grabbing rebounds. It eliminates her game.
And let's not forget the true comedy. People genuinely believe Angel only made the Sky roster because of Caitlyn Clark. The logic here is flawless. You mean to tell me a 6'3" forward who led the NCAA in double-doubles, dominated physically in college, and immediately started stuffing the stat sheet in the pros somehow doesn't belong unless she's attached to the golden glow of Caitlyn Clark's halo? Sounds legit. Never mind her 13.1 rebounds a game. That was probably just a clerical error.
Basketball player, but when you start having a lack of shots or a lack of missed shots, the offensive rebound.
But wait. This gets better. The concern is that as Chicago improves, Angel's numbers might drop. Maybe her rebounds go from 13 to 10, her points dip from 13 to 11. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the slow death of a dynasty. ESPN might as well play the sad violin now. Angel Reese only grabbing 10 rebounds a night? Tragic. Call the basketball coroner. Meanwhile, back in reality, people who actually know the game, like, say, Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White, are reportedly sweating about how to keep Angel off the glass. But sure, ESPN, tell us again how she's destined to vanish. Stephanie White is over here strategizing like she's facing Dennis Rodman in a Sky jersey, but yes, please go on about her decline. What's even more hysterical is that some fans genuinely think the Chicago Sky will be better off if Angel Reese plays less, right? Because clearly, the way to improve a team struggling with size, toughness, and second chance points is to bench the league's most consistent rookie rebounder. These are the same fans who probably think hot sauce is too spicy and believe defense is just an optional suggestion.
And now, With her popularity and drawing power rapidly declining, Angel Reese is being humbled by the same media that gave her this false bravado.
Now, let's address this all talk, no skill narrative. Because nothing screams lax work ethic like training with Lisa Leslie in the offseason. That's right, Reese wasn't on a yacht somewhere sipping smoothies. She was in the gym with a Hall of Famer, working on the one area the critics wouldn't shut up about, her layups. But sure, no work ethic. She just sleeps in her jersey and prays for stats to show up. Let's all pretend like she didn't come into the WNBA with more pressure than a soda can in a microwave. She's been the media's favorite punching bag since she made a ring gesture in college. But instead of cracking, she showed up, took the hits, and set a rookie record for consecutive double-doubles. All while being micromanaged by refs, questioned by analysts, and underestimated by, well, pretty much everyone not named Reese. And oh, the irony. ESPN, the same network that plastered her face all over social media and cashed in on her every viral moment, is now ready to throw her in the washed up at 22 pile. And it's amazing how fast the narrative shifts when a confident black woman refuses to tone it down and know her place. Suddenly, being vocal becomes being a distraction, and being dominant becomes overrated. Funny how that works.
I actually like some of the stuff I've seen out of their coach so far. She's having to modify an offensive role. They're moving her out away from the basket. She's continuing to miss shots up close. Her field goal percentage still isn't good. She had some nice assists the other day. But you also run the risk of devaluing her rebounds. And look, her fans are going to get very loud if she's not putting up those double-doubles.
The WNBA craves visibility, and yes, Angel Reese is marketable, for better or worse. But that's PR value, not basketball value. You don't keep someone in your starting five just because ESPN can't stop posting her side eyes on Instagram. If the goal is to win games and not just dominate Twitter beefs, then yeah, her role might shift. Maybe fewer flashy rebounds, maybe more sharing the spotlight with players who don't treat every possession like a press conference. And let's be real, Reese's numbers might dip. That's not evolution, that's regression dressed up as maturity. She'll still get hers here and there, but that double-double parade might slow to a casual stroll, and when it does, it won't be because she's adapting. It'll be because the league is catching on, adjusting, and refusing to fall for the same overhyped bag of tricks every night. Physical? Sure. Competitive? Definitely. But too often, Angel Reese plays like she's trying to win the internet, not the game. So no, she's not going anywhere. But maybe it's time we stop pretending that's a good thing.
Angel Reese goes the first two preseason games, and then this most recent preseason game. Well, the highlight tape from this most recent preseason game is awfully reminiscent to the Angel Reese that we saw all last season.
And honestly, if the sky gets better and Reese's stat line dips slightly, that's a good thing. It means she doesn't have to carry the whole squad like a pack mule. It means the team is functioning like, a team. And if ESPN needs a refresher on how basketball works, there are literally millions of youth leagues across the country they could observe for some tips. So next time you hear someone say Angel Reese is going to fade, just smile, nod, and wait for the inevitable highlight reel dunk, block, or rebound where she sends someone flying into the third row. Because one thing's for sure, Reese might not be perfect, but fading away? That's not in her playbook. And if ESPN keeps trying to will her decline into existence, they're going to find themselves on the wrong side of another viral clapback. Reese doesn't just show up, she shows out. Stats or no stats, her presence is loud, her hustle is relentless, and her critics, well, they can keep praying for that fade because it's not coming.
ESPN, one of their analysts, has came right out, and it's hilarious to see ESPN try to cover themselves, try to insulate themselves, because they know they're going to get backlash from this statement, all right? It's a sound statement until the very end of it, all right? It's a sound statement until we get to the very end of it. Chicago Sky forward Angel Reese is expected to remain a double-double machine in 2025. No, she isn't. That's not going
And while we're at it, let's talk about the narrative that Angel Reese somehow used Caitlyn Clark to make the Chicago Sky roster, as if the WNBA is some high school popularity contest and not, spoiler alert, a professional league where you actually have to, play basketball. The theory here seems to be that Angel rode Caitlyn's coattails into the league like she snuck into the draft ceremony through a side door labeled Drama Queens Only. Let's break this down like a bad ESPN segment. According to the logic of the social media peanut gallery, Angel Reese, who averaged a double-double for an entire college career, set records at LSU, and anchored one of the most watched women's NCAA games in history, somehow needed a Caitlyn Clark feud to get noticed, because obviously, decades of stats, effort, and raw athletic dominance mean nothing if you're not locked in an ESPN-manufactured rivalry. If Caitlyn Clark hadn't been there, Angel would apparently be working part-time at a smoothie bar and moonlighting as a motivational speaker for underachievers.
Caitlyn Clark has done the impossible. She has elevated the WNBA into the mainstream. She has turned this rancid dump into a
These same critics are out here pretending Angel's WNBA jersey was mailed to her as part of a promotional giveaway. Like, congratulations, you've been selected to join the WNBA starter pack. Includes one Sky jersey, a reusable water bottle, and 60% less media support than your white counterparts. But sure, let's pretend it was all Caitlyn, because it's not like Angel Reese had her own $1 million NIL deals, packed arenas, and sold-out merch before she ever exchanged a single side-eye with Clark. It's not like she was the face of LSU basketball. Nah, let's just rewrite history so that one white player from Iowa magically generated an entire rival's career. Makes total sense. It's exhausting, really. The double standards couldn't be more obvious if they were printed in neon pink across a Nike billboard. Caitlyn Clark gets bodied in a game and it's a national tragedy. Angel Reese takes a hard foul and it's just part of the game. Clark jawjacks after a three? Iconic. Reese flexes after a block? Classless. There's more hypocrisy in this league than there are bad ref calls, and that's saying something.
She talked about sold-out arenas. What arenas are selling out that Caitlyn Clark isn't playing in? I need to know. I need to know. But the Las Vegas Aces... No, the Las Vegas Aces sell out their season tickets. Tell me somebody who's selling out every damn place they go that's not named Caitlyn Clark.
Speaking of ref calls, let's just take a moment to recognize how the narrative surrounding Reese ties perfectly into the broader WNBA circus. You've got fans saying Reese doesn't have the skill or the work ethic. Meanwhile, she's diving for loose balls, boxing out like a freight train, and grinding in the paint like her paycheck depends on it. Which it kind of does, because, spoiler alert, WNBA salaries still aren't anything to brag about unless you're flying charter and hawking shoes. But you know what is worth bragging about? Angel's impact on the Sky. Every time she steps on the court, the defense changes. Opposing bigs suddenly develop this amazing allergy to boxing out. It's miraculous. Coaches plan entire strategies around keeping her off the glass. And she's only a rookie. If you think Chicago's getting better despite Angel, you've either never watched a basketball game or you're lying to yourself with ESPN on repeat. And let's address that whole she's moving into a more offensive role so her rebounds will go down theory. Oh no, you mean she's evolving into a multi-dimensional threat? God forbid she becomes a forward who can actually score, pass, and crash the boards. What's next, developing a mid-range jumper? We can't have that. Better pack her bags now and send her off to Irrelevance Island with last season's hot takes.
Number 6 for the season. My number 6 prediction is the Chicago Sky. It is my preview, and we are going to have the Chicago Sky at number 6. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Mick, you're correct.
Here's the thing. Angel's already proven she's not just a rebound machine. She's aggressive on defense, vocal in the locker room, and plays with a chip on her shoulder the size of Chicago itself. And that chip? It's what keeps her coming. It's why she plays through foul trouble, bad calls, and the occasional ESPN think piece that's written like a breakup letter to reality. People act like this fade is inevitable, like she's just going to gently disappear into the team's bench while Chicago soars to greatness without her. As if that's ever how basketball works. Stars don't fade just because they stop padding stat sheets. They adapt, they lead, they become more efficient, smarter, harder to stop. Ask Tim Duncan, ask Draymond Green. Hell, ask anyone not trying to go viral on Twitter with a 280-character hot take. Angel doesn't have to average 14 rebounds a game forever. If she drops to 10 or 9 but starts dishing assists and taking smarter shots, that's called growth, not decline. But don't try telling that to the folks rooting for her downfall like it's a team sport.
If she is used in this offense in the manner that Tyler Marsh wants her to be used, those rebounding numbers will drop. All right? The offensive rebounds are going to go down.
And let's be honest, this isn't really about basketball. This is about media comfort zones. The moment a confident, unapologetic black woman steps into the spotlight and refuses to play nice, the clock starts ticking. The haters start foaming at the mouth. They wait for any dip, any slump, any moment of frustration to scream, "Overrated," from the cheap seats. You've got entire Reddit threads dedicated to parsing every facial expression she makes. Did Angel roll her eyes? Boom, she's arrogant. Did she celebrate a dunk? Toxic. Did she speak confidently in an interview? Clearly uncoachable. The standards are so lopsided you'd think they were designed by the same people who made the WNBA's travel policies. And through it all, Reese keeps showing up, keeps rebounding, keeps taking elbows in the paint, keeps being, dare we say, really freaking good at basketball. And that burns people up because she refuses to fold, refuses to shrink, refuses to be the humble, quiet, grateful athlete the old guard is still clinging to.
If I'm a Chicago Sky fan, I'm frustrated.
So sure, let ESPN make their predictions. Let the armchair analyst pretend she's on the decline. Because the only thing Reese is going to be falling off of is the top of the leaderboard. Straight into playoff contention, endorsement deals, and another all-star bid. And when she gets there, don't expect her to whisper thanks. Expect a flex, a smirk, and maybe even another mic drop. Because that's Angel. She's not here to fade. She's here to stay. And the WNBA, like it or not, better get used to it.